Hi, everybody. The main topic is going to be all about building up your engagement ladder within your product so that you can drive more growth for your business. So, first question you have to ask yourself before you can come up with your customer engagement strategy is really what engagement game are you playing? The answer to this question helps you define the right North Star for your product. So, the good news is that there are only really three games of product engagement. There is the first one, and probably my favorite one, which is attention. The next is transaction. And last but not the least is productivity. So, for example, the attention game, typical North Stars could be time spent engaging with content, the number of stories or number of pieces of content viewed, number of users who are spending at least a minimum amount of time every day watching some content or reading something or whatever your format is. It could be the number of subscribers who are specifically streaming these many hours a month. So depending on your business model, you can have very, very different takes on the attention game. Similarly, companies like Walmart, eBay, Amazon, some of them might be trying to maximize the number of buyers who buy from different channels. Some of them may be trying to maximize the number of subscribers they have if they have a product like Prime. So, or maybe they are focused on value-added transactions like seat upgrades on United. But the core metric will be something that drives more and more purchases on the platform because that's what this business model is all about. It's about the volume and value of transactions. Similarly, with products like B2B products like Salesforce or Slack or Asana, they're trying to come up with a measure of productivity for you, which is if you're able to get this job done, you were productive, you got value out of the platform. So it's not about time spent, it's not about how many times you use the platform, it's about how effectively you could get a job done, which is, how many messages could you send to somebody, how many customer records could you create, or for Amplitude, like how many questions were you able to ask might be one. So these are all different examples of product North Stars that are based on a good understanding of exactly what game you're playing. All right, so to summarize this, there are actually three attributes of a great North Star, not just one. So first, it has to reflect the value that customers are getting from your product, right? Otherwise, Facebook's North Star would just be ad revenue. It's not, because then that would force the platform in a direction that customers don't get value out of. Two, it has to represent your unique strategy to win. So which is why metrics like daily active users are a really bad North Star, because they don't really represent your unique strategy in any way. Ideally, a metric represents something that you're doing that is special to your platform. And of course, last but not the least, it has to be a leading indicator of revenue, which means that if this metric goes up, you know that that is highly correlated to your business doing really well. That is really the essence of a product-led business. So to give you guys some idea of what this means for Amplitude, our product North Star right now is weekly learning users, where learning is specifically defined within our productivity game, as you not only were able to answer a question that mattered to you, you also shared the answer with more than two people in your company. So there were at least two other people who also looked at the answer that you got, and together as a group, you came to a learning. So believe that learning only happens through collaboration. That's also, in fact, a part of our unique strategy in terms of how we approach analytics. It reflects value that customers get from us, which is that their ability to learn. And of course, as our number of weekly learning users grows, our customer accounts and the value that these customers get from us grows, and our revenue also grows. So this has been probably like the third phase of evolution for us as a company in terms of our product North Star. All right. So now, how does that actually break down? This is just one metric. You can't operate your whole product team on one metric. So we actually use what we call the product formula to break this down into 4 dimensions. So overall, our North Star is weekly learning users. We break it down into breadth, depth, frequency, and efficiency. Breadth is our ability to get more weekly learning users into the platform. So that's just how many activated organizations or customers are using Amplitude. Depth would be the number of users sharing learnings with each other. Frequency would be how often are they sharing learnings. And efficiency would be how quickly are these organizations and users getting activated. So a lot of different projects, a lot of different investments that we make in our product actually align to one of these dimensions that then effectively grows our product North Star. All right, so now we have this baseline of how to measure success and how to set the right goal for your product organization. So we can move on to the real meat of our workshop, which is how do you build your engagement ladder so that more and more people actually contribute to your product North Star, really? So how do you get everybody contributing to this North Star that now you have defined so well with the help of our engagement game framework? All right. So when a lot of people think about customer engagement in the form of funnels, but a loop is really the ideal way to define it. So this is now pretty much the modern industry standard to define a customer lifecycle is as a loop. So this is how we at Amplitude think about engagement cycles. We think about it as starting with curiosity, right? So everybody starts at a point of curiosity. What is this product? What does it do? Let's find out. And from there, you need to take them to the aha moment of like, oh, this is how this product is going to make my life better. And from there, you need a constant exchange of triggers and value where you remind them or you create a product that automatically pulls people back in and they constantly create more value for your business because you are creating more value for them as a customer. So this loop needs to be extremely strong for people to then become advocates, right? Once they go through this loop a few times, they are now providing social proof to the rest of the world about why your product is amazing, which drives more and more curiosity from new users who can now join the platform and enjoy your product. So what we are saying is really that the right half of this cycle represents the retention loop. And the left half of the cycle represents pretty much the hardest digital problem in the world, which is how do you get a curious customer to their aha moment really effectively? So that's what we're going to focus on for the rest of this workshop. And I'm not joking when I call it the hardest digital problem in the world because most businesses lose at least 2/3 of their customers between that step 1 and step 2. And for your typical mobile app, it's almost as bad as like 95%. You lose most of your customers within weeks. 95% of your customers basically never come back. So being in this extremely noisy world, to be able to get people from curiosity to aha really, really easily one of the highest opportunity problems to solve for anybody, and you never stop solving it. So let's dig into that a little bit more. Again, while a lot of people think of this as an activation funnel or an onboarding funnel, my favorite representation of it is as follows. It's as a ladder. And the ladder really reminds you that you have to fight the force of gravity to get a customer from curious to aha. You don't just kind of flow through a funnel. You have to fight every step of the way. You are going to lose them unless you create that activation energy that pulls them up the ladder. And often the big mistake people make is not giving customers enough rungs in this ladder. So right now, a ladder, the bottom is curiosity. You have the customer kind of looking up, wondering what is going to be their aha moment. Why are they going to care about you? But the rungs might not be visible to them. Forget, figuring out why they're ever going to become a loyal advocate of your platform, which is the very top of our goal or our destination around retention. So the question we'll try to answer is like, how do we create the desire for our customers to climb this ladder? To give you the answer, instead of going into theory again, I'll walk you through how we did it at Amplitude for our own product. So the way we thought about our aha moment was definitely creating your first analytics chart, right? Being able to realize that you can do it so easily and you found the answer to the question you were looking for and you found it yourself. That is the big aha moment for Amplitude, just the ease of being able to ask and answer. But when we started growing our business, we realized that a lot of people who are not familiar with Amplitude were simply not getting from curiosity to the aha moment. We had really high new user retention rates when we were only working with analytics power users. But as soon as we started growing and got a very big user base of people who were not that familiar with analytics, our new user retention rates dropped dramatically. So we needed to answer this question for ourselves, which is how do we create the desire for our new users who are not analytics power users to climb this ladder of engagement? So we did two things, which is add two rungs to our ladder of engagement and make it much more easier for customers to climb it. The first one was finding an analysis that is already relevant to them. That was really important because as soon as they came into the platform, instead of saying, oh, there's so much happening, we wanted them to say, oh, here's a question that I actually think I just heard somebody ask. Like, this was actually relevant to me and my team, and this is the first thing I saw when I entered the platform. The second one was being able to tweak the existing analysis instead of having to start from scratch and do your own thing. Just be able to tweak it and say, oh, what if? What if I change the question a tiny bit? Could I do this on my own? So those were the two big interactions that we added to our ladder of engagement to make it easier for the customer to take baby steps needed to get to their aha moment. So the functionality was, one, like finding a relevant analysis was all about collaboration. So we created this team space where you could actually be invited in by the team that you are on, not the whole company, but the specific team of 3 people working on a problem, so that everything that was being asked and answered there was already relevant to you. So this obviously dramatically helped us help new users find a relevant analysis. And the next one was a feature that we actually already had that was not very obvious, that we started making more and more obvious, which is if you see a chart you like, you can edit it without asking for permission, without worrying about what happens to the chart. You can just edit it because it's just your copy of the chart. You don't have to worry about anything. You can just start playing around with it and then walk away from it and nothing goes wrong. So just making it way more obvious to people that they can tweak whatever they see, no consequences, was the second really important rung in the ladder. And we ran a lot of different little experiments, did a lot of research to arrive at the fact that these were the two correct rungs for our engagement ladder. And they were the most highly correlated to the North Star metric dimension we were trying to improve, which is get more new users activated faster. And once all of this happened, then our secret sauce of like out-of-the-box analysis frameworks actually started becoming really, really obvious to these customers. And our new user retention almost doubled over the period that we shipped all of these improvements to the product. And overall, like this is really our product-led growth strategy laid out for you. And what you'll notice is it's not about emails and in-app notifications. It's not about any of that. It's just crafting and designing your product for better organic growth.